I'm convinced that we will destroy, unfortunately, a lot of employment. Just think of self-guided cars and all the drivers losing their jobs. Let's look at the bank employees and so on.
If you're left behind, you're facing something far worse, which is to be completely irrelevant. They won't even need you as a serf or as a slave.
Let's talk about what's going on with Sam Bankman-Fried. In just the past 5 years, Sam Bankman-Fried went from buying his first Bitcoin to becoming a multi-billionaire. The FTX founder is now worth an estimated $11 billion. He could have bought that Jordan jersey if he wanted to. His exchange is now worth $32 billion, and it brought in about $1 billion in revenue just last year. CNBC's Kate Rooney has more on the CEO's rise to the top of the crypto industry. They call him the JP Morgan of crypto, right?
Yeah, the Michael Jordan of crypto, if you will. Sam Bankman-Fried has really played a key role in the crypto industries. Just the role in the industry this year in general, Andrew, he spent hundreds of millions of dollars to bail out struggling companies facing bankruptcy, liquidity issues, you name it. The CEO, though, lives a relatively understated life for a billionaire. He drives a Toyota Corolla to FTX's offices in the Bahamas. He lives with 10 roommates and a golden doodle named Gopher. Sometimes sleeps under his desk on a beanbag chair as well. I sat down with Bankman-Fried outside of FTX's headquarters to talk about his role as the industry's lender of last resort.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think. And we have the Bankman again, worth over $11 billion. He's the JP Morgan of crypto. And we know how the NWO creates his puppets. We know eventually they're going to cut his hair, make him lose weight, and then he's going to be GQ. We've seen it with Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. It's the same routine, guys. But they're creating new faces for crypto, new young leaders that will lead Generation Z and the millennials and the new digital economy and, of course, the metaverse. And the Bankman has been doing crypto bailouts. And when it came to FTX funding rounds, you had some of the biggest names. Sequoia, Ontario's pension plan, SoftBank, Paradigm, Blackstone, Binance, just to name a few. And what does a crypto teacher teach you? To always follow the money. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Extremely valuable to the ecosystem to backstop some of these places. First of all, it's just backstopping customers and making sure they're protected. But second of all, stopping contagion from spreading through the ecosystem, right? Stopping it from being the case that anyone who transitively did business with any chain of people who did business with one of the troubled assets themselves became troubled. And then the secondary goal was maybe there are good trades to do. Maybe there's an investment or acquisition that can be done at, terms that we'd be excited about, given the sort of need for capital right now. But that was usually not the standard we were able to hold ourselves to. In practice, the standard was, do we feel okay about this from a financial perspective? Like, does this look at least mediocre? Like not a huge loss in expectation, maybe a gain in expectation, hopefully, maybe not, was sort of the bar that something had to cross in order for us to feel comfortable, intervening there. And often we just weren't sure. Like, you look at a lot of these cases, they had 4 days before they're going to file bankruptcy. And so we had 4 days to do all of the diligence we could on the company, learn everything about it, understand the industry, their business, their customers, understand how we thought things were going to unfold, and then make a judgment call and wire money. I think the Voyager case is sort of an interesting one there. What we ended up doing was extending a sort of two-piece line of credit. And the first was $70 million. And that $70 million was money they could just draw on immediately, no strings attached. And we knew we might lose that. Then there's a larger line of credit, which would eventually have potentially plugged our best guess at the time as to what the complete hole was, but which had conditions on it. If there's just an immediate run on the bank here and the business is just going belly up and there's nothing we can do to actually save this, like, we don't want to just keep running through it. We very well may lose that 70 million. I don't know if we're seeing it again. And so be it. Like, we understood that risk going in.
Do you still have enough cash if you needed to do another bailout?
Yeah, we did. And we try to keep that on hand. Like, we try not to empty the coffer, so to speak. We had a couple billion going into this. And, it lines up roughly with the amount that we'd raised, over the last year. And, on top of that, we had been profitable.
So billion-ish to deploy?
Yeah, and again, you get to definitional issues here of how much do we really feel comfortable deploying? Saying that there's another ballpark billion, that is sort of, completely unencumbered, certainly will get you within a factor of two, certainly, if the right answer.
You said FTX has a responsibility to seriously consider stepping into the time to save companies. Why did you have that sense of responsibility? It's
not going to be good for anyone long term if we have real pain, if we have real blowouts, and it's not fair to customers, and it's not going to be good for regulation. It's not going to be good for anything, and so from a longer term perspective, it's just that was what was important for the ecosystem. Is what was important for customers, and it was what was important for people to be able to operate in the ecosystem without being terrified that unknown unknowns were going to blow them up somehow.
It's too soon to tell, of course, if these crypto bets will pay off. Time will tell. But Bankman-Fried has continued that spending spree, most recently with Skybridge Capital. As far as how they're able to afford all of this, Bankman-Fried says FTX is profitable, has kept costs low with about a tenth the amount of employees as some other exchanges, and the company has raised about $2 billion in venture capital money. For that full 90-minute interview, head over to CNBC Pro on CNBC.com.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.